2025. This is HOA Today. HOA Today is a live stream about HOA's various current events and HOA topics, homeowner associations, condo associations, fractional real estate ownership. This live stream is brought to you by Zayuk Smart Property System. Zayuk is built for homeowner associations, condominium associations, decentralized asset ownership models regarding real estate. And Zayuk has availability across 40 countries, and it is where we bring physical property and the maintenance of that and the asset management. So the supply chain of how you get your vendors and how you manage your vendors and how the owners are able to manage their finances over years. The information distribution of that is not easy to handle, and as infrastructure ages, it becomes more difficult, more complex, more costly to maintain it, to organize it across various owners. And if there's been a large amount of negligence and underfunding of that property, people who purchase into it, who buy a condo into a building or a townhome into a building, can have some serious issues regarding insurance and then assessment increases. We see that in Florida. We see that in California. And the number one thing is documenting it and having that information over years and having it available to view easily. And that's where Zayuk Smart Property System comes in. So we'll begin by speaking about some various topics. We'll speak about this by Fox 8. Greensboro condo owners demand answers from HOA as maintenance issues go unsolved, unquote, by Celeste Smith. Community conditions don't seem to reflect the association fees at Bramblegate condominiums along Bramblegate Road. Waiting years for basic maintenance, and it seems hopeless. The community has deteriorated, and requests for help are going nowhere. Pothole-ridden parking lot that homeowners explain that believe it would be difficult for even an emergency vehicle to enter the area. And homeowners who've lived there for decades, James Joyce, who's lived there for 4 decades, long-standing issues remain unaddressed. Pool, unmaintained or broken pool, and high assessment to increase that. These are issues that happen over decades. And really, higher monthly assessments are likely what's needed. I mean, I'm not an accountant, and none of this is legal advice. And then this is from the City of Greensboro's code compliance. Quote, while the property is governed by a homeowner association, this does not impact the city's ability to enforce code violations. The HOA is responsible for maintaining common areas. However, code compliance may still investigate violations on the property, including within individual units. It's important to note that the condominium units at Bramblegate are individually owned, and some are likely rented out. Because of this, we occasionally receive complaints involving specific units rather than the entire complex. Trash dumping is one of them. Trash and debris accumulation. It's very difficult. It's not a simple thing, and undoing years of negligence takes years of effort, which is something that people sometimes have difficulty digesting. Quote, this is from the Naples Daily News. Florida HOA rules and regs. May an HOA add pickleball lines to tennis courts without a vote? So I'm looking for the answer to this. Okay. So this answer is from Richard DeBost, partner of Goad, DeBost and Cross. Quote, based on the test enunciated in Sterling Village Condominium Inc., a change is material or substantial if it palpably or perceptively varies or changes the form, shape, elements, or specifications of the common elements in such a manner as to appreciably affect or influence its function, use, or appearance. Unquote. And the change is changing it from tennis court to pickleball court. And then this is his answer, quote, as such, unless your condominium documents provide for another method for the approval of material alterations, 75% of the total voting interest is needed, unquote. So if Floridians want to change their tennis ball courts to pickleball courts, they will need 75% vote of the owners. Decentralized ownership is very difficult. I mean, especially when it's, an HOA format. Oh no. Let me verify that the camera's good. Great. So that was an interesting article. This is from the Island Packet. Can HOAs remove political signs from yards? And these are in what South Carolina law says. There's no specific law in South Carolina that overrides HOA covenants on political signs. So that means HOAs have they have the rules. The owners, they have the rules. Quote, in February, a bill was introduced to the House that aimed to protect homeowners in HOA communities the right to display political signs and flags, but it has not progressed further, unquote. And that's from the Island Packet. South Carolina does have laws prohibiting vandalizing signs or removing them without the permission of the candidate or party, which is a misdemeanor or $100 or 30 days in jail. And then in this case, it goes to local ordinances. So in those local ordinances, and there are 3, 4, or 5 listed. Bluffton signs are prohibited on public property. Hilton Head Island signs can't be placed on any public property. There's multiple laws. I'm not going to read them out, but it goes to local municipalities at that point. Okay, and this is from Yahoo. Homeowner outrage from HOA creates dangerous situation in neighborhood street, quote, a death trap, unquote. One Redditor put their homeowner association on blast for creating dangerous conditions for residents and taking their money in the process. And it was in the subreddit that we've already spoken about. The HOA needed workers to repair water leaks, but supposedly it caused significant damage in the road. And there's questions about the quality of the vendor and his processes of work. It seems that is a huge issue. And the initial repair seemed to have caused more leaks, and the HOA had to shut off the water and presented two options. Double their monthly rates or pay a special assessment. So that's a very big deal. And with that in mind, I will go back to our sponsor of this live stream, which is Zayuk. If you have a small HOA, less than 16 to 12 units, and you possibly don't use a manager, Zayuk is a fantastic system. Reach out to us or just sign up. And if you have problems signing up, you can reach out to us and we'll help you bring your association on. You can manage your payments, invoices, contracts, and it's particularly insidious for smaller HOAs. A lot of people don't understand that when you have a larger HOA and something goes wrong, you have more people to distribute that assessment across. So the individual burden lowers when you have a lot of people to distribute the total burden across. But when you have, say, 4 to 16 people and something huge happens, even more than 16, but if you have particularly lower than 20, it can be massive amounts of money that you're paying. And this is why, as our infrastructure and housing ages, using Zayuk is very important. Reaching out to us for our inspection system is particularly important. So we can come out, document everything, So I'm a professional engineer in electrical engineering. We'll document your panels. We'll document the hygiene of your structures, your balconies, your roofs, your gutters, your asphalt, your concrete. And this is where AI comes in with the vision. AI vision, computer vision is particularly powerful. When people talk of NVIDIA got huge through graphical processing units. And even you think of it this is getting pretty deep, but the human brain, I believe, don't quote me on this, I'm not a neuroscientist, 90% of our brain power goes into vision. So if I close my eyes, I believe, I'm not sure, and this is part of the reason with sleep and whatnot, but 90% of our brain power supposedly goes into vision. And in that case, you can think of this in the context of AI when it gets super powerful. And that's why you want Zayuk to come out. You can do your own drone inspection. We will integrate it with our app so you have your documentation with you, available, organized in a way that's ingestible, easily ingestible, because we understand you are not specialists. You guys are not, you just want some data, some accountability, some verification. You want to make sure that the process is going effectively. And Zayuk gives you the tools to understand the process and gives you tools to also manage the effectiveness through our smart contracts, through our voting system, through our integrated work order, ticketing, violation, service request, architecture request system, that as we bring out these new digital twin products, the vision context I said earlier is great for AI. It's also great for humans. When you can bring a 3D model that's survey grade level accurate to your vendors and to your owners and to your potential owners and to your managers, everyone understands what's going on a little bit better. And there's proof. So it's a very powerful tool. Please reach out to us, and even things like this. So I brought this up because they spoke about the quality of vendor. We have an RFP, vendor process management system, and it's very helpful. So reach out to us. So we just spoke about that, vendor appropriation, and how this seemed to one vendor did not seem qualified to do the work that they were enlisted to do. Very important to get a good range of vendors, people that are trustworthy, that seem trustworthy to you and to your fellow residents and owners. And it's not easy, but with tools like Zayuk, it helps. It helps to organize the proposals, the RFPs, the contracts, the work, the work against those contracts, invoices. It's a fully integrated contracting system. So this is also from Yahoo, violation from another subreddit. And it was about cutting down a tree. May have been a Bradford pear tree, which is an invasive species. And the big issue here, but even if that was the case, they wrote the HOA should have communicated instead of simply having the tree cut down with no explanation. And this is where, people can imagine where a visualization system really helps. And we're going to run through some examples in the coming weeks. And I'm excited to run through those examples. Okay. So communication. It's all about communication. It's not easy. It's not fun sometimes. It's necessary. It helps people really being aware of it and making it a value that you harness and implement within your processes. This will likely be the last article that we go through. A homeowner created a backyard mural in an Indio HOA, asking him to submit an application for the art or paint over it. This cost $2,500. Quote, a love letter to the Coachella Valley, unquote. That's what the mural is, as described by the owner. It seems it's an Airbnb listing. That makes sense. And the community association says those must be paintings designed or approved. And the owner believes that's overreach. Oh, and now, so this is from KESQ News Channel 3. Quote, now he thinks it's a targeted enforcement by the HOA because the home is a short-term rental, unquote. It continues, I don't think short-term rentals in this community get a fair shake. Why do I need an architecture application for my wall, unquote. He argues that it's not visible. Unfortunately, if it's a rule, there's not much that you can argue against, and especially if it's out in the open. So this is from Okay, and this is from the board of directors. Quote, Terra Lago Community Association is a gated community in Indio consisting of 636 homes, all as with all homeowner associations, governed by a set of documents, architectural guidelines. Quote, in 2023, Mr. Borrego was made aware of a violation related to a mural painted on an exterior wall. At the time, he acknowledged the issue and provided photographs to the HOA showing that the wall had been restored to its original color. However, upon a recent inspection earlier this year, it was discovered the mural had not actually been removed. Unquote. So that's difficult. When it's out in the open, it's out in the open. And it's even if it's not visible, I mean, it's still somewhat visible. It's difficult. Well, thank you, everyone. This live stream of HOA Today was brought to you by Zayuk, an inspection service and asset hygiene service, a software and inspection, and a platform for you to handle all of your normal daily property tech issues when it comes to HOAs, such as collections and work orders and payments and invoicing and architecture applications possibly, but then we add a whole nother tier to it, such as voting and vendor management and requests for proposals and our inspection service, which outputs models and photos and verification that of what your assets actually look like. Because over years, you want that. It really gives you a lot of power. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day and take